Hey guys, welcome back to Main Street Living. Ladies, did you know that almost half of Americans believe in ghosts? In fact, Cheryl and Danielle, 1 in 5 say that they've seen one themselves.
I think there's one in my apartment, actually.
Oh my. Okay, that's pretty creepy. And as we gear up for Halloween, who doesn't love a good ghost story? In Providence, Rhode Island, there are quite a few, and you can learn all about them when you take the Providence Ghost Tour. Here to tell us all about it is owner Courtney Edge-Mattos. Welcome to Main Street Living. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Ghost tales are a fan favorite this time of the year. So tell us about the Providence Ghost Tour and what we can expect on the walking tour.
Okay, so Providence Ghost Tour has a few different permutations, but the first of it is the walking tour. So we walk through Providence. If you're not from around here, Providence was founded in 1636 by Roger Williams, so it's a very old city. And the section that we walk through has just this like delicious old vibe to it. We've got cobblestone streets. We have these gorgeous little street lamps, and then we walk under those street lamps and we walk to different buildings and we tell you the haunted history. It's about a 90-minute tour. Sometimes we have slow walkers and sometimes people just get really excited. So we might extend beyond the 90 minutes. But it is a really lovely way to get into the spirit of the season.
Wow. Well, speaking of haunted history in the area, what can you tell us about this haunted university?
Which haunted university? That's the question. We actually have a bunch of haunted universities. So a lot of the property that we cross around is Brown University property. So you've made it to the Ivy Leagues, my friends. Brown started in Providence in 1770. So it's very old. And one of the buildings actually served as a hospital for the French and American soldiers during the Revolution. And so that's one of our most active buildings. And this is kind of its prime time. October, it just really pops. We have a lot of people who get camera activity. So they take pictures and then we find apparitions and specters looking back at us, which is pretty exciting.
Wow. It's really neat to hear all of this. Yes. And yeah, there's got to be some longest lingering residents that people might encounter on some of these tours, if you know what I mean. So how about that?
There's really a broad variety, think about how many people live in a city and how many different kinds of people, so you have everything from, a carriage driver that haunts Benefit Street. We see his carriage going up and down. Benefit Street is one of our older streets in the city. And then all the way up to literary legends. So Edgar Allan Poe has a presence in Providence. And so I'm not going to give that away. You'll have to take my tour to find out more about that. But we have some wonderful lingering residents that just aren't ready to go anywhere else because their hearts are in Providence.
Oh,
amazing. Well, you started this tour back in 2006. How did it all begin?
When I was a college student, I worked for the Newport Ghost Walk. I was one of the first guides hired on that tour. Newport is a town close to Providence. And so when I graduated from college, I was kind of looking for just sort of my place. And I felt like I wasn't quite finding that. And so I had a good friend, Mike, who is no longer my tour partner, but we parted ways amicably. We spent 9 months doing the research for the tour and really just putting our hearts and souls into figuring this, paranormal phenomenon out. And then we put the tour on its legs and, it's changed over time. We've found new ghosts here, so we reroute the tour. We've found ghosts that are sometimes a little bit less active, so maybe we move it elsewhere. So that's when we started, and it's changed. So we've added on a partnership with 2 different local companies, Providence Riverboat Company. So there's a river that flows through the center of Providence, and we hop on board their boats and we tell stories twice a week to their passengers, completely separate from the walking tour. So a whole different group of spirits. And then we partner with La Gondola Providence. So they row Venetian gondolas down that same river. And so we hop on their gondolas and we tell beautiful stories completely separate from the riverboat stories. So you've really got 3 options to experience the paranormal Providence that we know and love.
Oh, wow. Now tell us about the tour guides. Each guide has a unique relationship with each tale and each spirit, I would imagine. And have they seen ghosts?
So a bunch of them have. The tour guides, it's really fascinating to see which ghosts kind of pop for them. So we have some that really connect, just differently. And then you look at the history of the ghost and you see where maybe my tour guide looks like somebody or represents something that that person would connect with. And so they might have more activity at one site while I have more activity at another site, which is always fun.
That's so cool. Is this a tour that only happens at Halloween, or is it offered other times?
Not at all. So New England weather can get a little hairy. Sometimes we have a late winter that just isn't ready to let go. So we've started as early as March, and we go sometimes as late as December if we have sort of a late blooming winter.
Oh, and I'm
Yeah.
curious, have you personally seen a ghost?
Oh, Mama, I surely have.
Uh-oh. Who was the ghost?
When I was very little, my family moved into what ended up being a very haunted farmhouse in Vermont. And so from my earliest memories, some of those early memories are actually ghosts, which is pretty fun. You can check out my blog on my website, and that can cue you into some of my paranormal roots.
Wow.
I'm sold. How can we find more information or get tickets?
So definitely go to the website, providenceghosttour.com. You can also follow us on social media. We're pretty active on Facebook and Instagram. And so that's the best way to get your information.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, so intriguing, all of this, Danielle. I kind of want to dive into it and see what we can learn.
It's very spooky, which is good. It's getting us in the mood for our next segment. We're going to look up the spooky side of New Orleans.
Let's go.